In this video, I'm going to cover some of the extracurricular activities that top colleges don't want to see, as well as the counter extracurricular activities that they actually do want to see. These are the things that our past clients have done working with us, and all of them have gotten into one of their top 3 schools. So let me run you through the 6 activities that top colleges do and don't want to see. And if you stick around, I'll let you in on the craziest statistic I heard from a former admissions officer at Duke that can change your perspective around college admissions forever. First things first. Here's why colleges care about your extracurricular activities. When you're an admissions officer at a top school like Harvard and Stanford, every smart student is applying to your school. Great. But the problem arises when there aren't enough seats for all of them. There are over 30,000 high schools in the US and similarly 30,000 valedictorians. They have more than enough students that are qualified academically, but again, don't have the capacity to take them all. So what do? They look at your extracurriculars. What are the things that you do outside of the classroom that makes you different? Your extracurricular activities are an opportunity for you to showcase your skills, talent, and general interests. Imagine admissions officers had to choose students only from SAT and GPA scores. It'll be impossible. Your ECs add color to your application and give a reflection on who you truly are. So now that you know why your extracurricular matters a ton in your college application process, here's the first activity that they won't like to see. First, the one thing colleges hate seeing, and I mean hate, is overly generic clubs where you have no leadership or tangible impact in. If you're a passive member of a large club at school, say like Key Club, NHS, or Interact without any leadership role or notable contributions, it shows that you don't have initiative, leadership, or any meaningful impact. Now, why do colleges look for initiative, leadership, and impact? It's because in exchange for education, they want your future accomplishments to be associated with their brand name. Take Stanford, for example. They're called the producers of billionaires because the co-founder of Yahoo, Instagram, and YouTube itself, the platform in which you're watching this video, all graduated from Stanford. Of course, these top colleges don't expect everyone to reach the heights that they do, but the potential of being future leaders of the world is what they're looking for. So instead of being in overly generic clubs like Key Club, Interact, and NHS with no leadership or impact, try and lead a project within the club or start an entirely new one with a unique initiative. It could be another volunteering club, but maybe for a specific cause. Being able to organize and lead a group of people are some of the traits and skills that they're looking for. If you're between 8th and 11th grade and you're aiming to get into the school of your dreams, like our students have in the past with all of our clients getting into one of their top 3 choices, click the first link in the description and book a discovery call. Next, low commitment hobby clubs. It's alright to have interests outside of the academic world like chess or video games, and it's alright to be in a club that does those things related to that. But if that's what makes up a majority of your ECs, it's a major red flag. When you only casually participate in chess clubs or esports teams without competitive achievements or leadership, it's kind of like, what was even the point of doing those activities? When I created my high school's first esports team, I coached the team to win the entire state championship the same year it was made. It wasn't just a hobby or a casual club. We had practice every other day and scrims every single week. Yes, being in a chess club or gaming club may show interest, but it lacks the depth of commitment that they want to see. Now, what can you do instead of just a low commitment hobby club? Go get a job. When I say that, I'm beyond serious. One of our consultants at Inspire Consulting worked with Duke University in the past, and here's the craziest statistic she told me just the other day. Out of the 20,000 applicants to Duke University last year, only 7% of them had jobs. Now, out of this 7% of the students that had jobs, 91% of them got accepted. Again, 20,000 applicants, 7% of them had jobs. Out of the 7%, 91% of them got accepted. But why is that? It's because jobs, especially when they take a majority of your time, shows responsibility, time management, and the ability to multitask. Not only are you going to school and getting good grades, participating in club events, but on top of that, you'd be working a part-time job, or maybe even a full-time job. Now that everyone is trying to do the cookie cutter strategy of getting an internship, creating their own club, and trying to do research, it makes basic things like having a job unique. So go out there, commit yourself to a job, and stick with it. The reason why I tell you to stick with it is because too many short-term commitments is another thing that top colleges don't want to see. Participating in several one-day volunteer events for the sake of logging hours, or constantly joining and leaving clubs and sports teams shows indecision and overall just the lack of commitment. When you join and then leave the subsequent year, it looks like you're just padding your application with shallow involvement. Instead of just dipping your toes into a bunch of activities, trying to try out everything, commit to long-term activities. Whether you get a job job or mentors younger students weekly or regularly volunteer at a local food bank, show your commitment to admissions officers by sticking with your guns. Past performance is a great indicator of future performance. If your past shows constant jumping around from club to club or passion project to passion project, how can they be sure that when you attend their university that you don't waste their time and resources because you constantly jump back and forth between commitments? An extracurricular activity that I get asked quite often in our consulting program is about social media or content creation. Hey Shinwoo, I have this Instagram account with a few hundred followers and I post art. Will that help me get into college? First, it depends on what type of major you're applying as. And second, running a casual social media account without a clear purpose or impact makes it really hard for admissions officers to know what to even say about your EC. Without a professional or meaningful focus, it doesn't demonstrate valuable skills or contributions. If you did have an Instagram account with a few hundred followers where you just posted art, what kind of conclusion as an admissions officer are they supposed to draw from that? So instead of doing something as general as just drawing, draw with a purpose. It doesn't have to be super clear. You can craft a narrative and talk about how you want to portray drawing as this way of expressing your feelings, an avenue of explaining things that words simply can't. If you want to run a YouTube channel, you can make it about STEM topics that you're interested in, teaching others what you've learned in the past, or start a blog to raise awareness about mental health. But I want to make this very, very clear. You need to back all this up with metrics. Your YouTube channel doesn't have to have 1 million subscribers, but if you actually put in the time for the production, content, and overall delivery of the video, it will garner traction. Same goes for your Instagram and blog. Having good metrics is a clear indicator of the level of impact your activity had. Now, it's much easier said than done because after a year of posting, I'm only at 8,700 subscribers. By the way, subscribe if you haven't. It'll take time. It'll take a ton of time. But what you'll get by the end of the journey is something that no one else can replicate. That, by definition, is differentiating yourself, having something or being someone that others can't copy. That is your ticket to the school of your dreams. I've mentioned in the past, especially in my newsletters once you join our Discord server, that you need a core theme. If you don't know what a core theme is, it's an identity that the rest of your application follows. Say you're applying as a computer science major. The things you do in school and out of school should typically align with what you're interested in, which is computer science. Your classes should consist of CS classes, while you're involved in CS clubs and potentially have experience in the real world applying code. Without a theme, applications are too scattered and it's hard for admissions officers to pinpoint who you really are. And it's hard for admissions officers to pinpoint who you actually are as a student. This is exactly why activities without relevance to your core theme can potentially harm your application. It can appear inconsistent with your story or lack intentionality. Instead of doing random activities to just fill up your time and activity list, pursue activities tied to your core theme, like building an app, conducting independent research, or interning at a local engineering firm if you're a future CS major. If I were to sum this video up to just a few quick points, it's number 1, highly consider getting a job. Number 2, don't just dip your toes into clubs and organizations, be heavily invested in them. And number 3, avoid short-term commitments and think long-term. And number 4, go after opportunities that align with your core theme. Now, if you're interested in consulting with our team of former admissions officers from Duke, Johns Hopkins, and many other top 30 schools, click the first link in the description and book a discovery call. That'll be it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.